Have you done a podcast before?
Not with this high end, not with all the gadgets.
Yeah, it's cool.
So, yeah.
That's cool. Okay, we're good to go at any time. Okay. Yes, and I always forget that. I mean, he's like always bugging me. He's like, make sure you tell people to subscribe. I'm like, it just feels weird. I feel weird, you know.
Yes. Selling yourself.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, my special guest today, Adam De Freitas. Am I saying that correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Adam
Actually,
De Freitas.
usually people butcher that. So.
And I've been dying to get you on just because you're kind of like a man of mystery. I've had the luxury to have you fight for me 2 times. Wish it was 3, but we still have a future ahead. If you haven't subscribed to the page, please do. Like it, share it, tell all your friends. Subscribe.
Absolutely.
Drove in today with his beautiful wife.
Girlfriend.
Baby
mama.
Same thing.
Same thing.
And basically, I want to just get you in just because you're mysterious to me. I've dealt with you as a professional, but never really talk to you. It's only it's like fight talk. But I see the things that you post online, like you're into snakes, you got this comic book character, you're like the international man of mystery.
A little bit of everything. Yeah.
How did it all start for you, bro? What got you into MMA? We'll get into all that other stuff after. Yeah.
Getting my ass kicked at Wasaga Beach prom weekend got me into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I can send you the video, my friend, or I can send you the picture of me getting a little lippy and a blue belt taking me down and completely manhandling me and about to rip my arm off, and he had the decency to not do that. And I got up, shook his hand, and 2 weeks after that, I was training at the exact same gym he was at.
How long ago was that?
2007, 2008, I think.
Oh, wow.
Around there, yeah.
Wow. Are you friends with the guy now?
He quit after his last name was Keller. I can't remember his first name. He was a blue. We did a couple months together, but he went off and did his own thing, and I stuck with it. So
no shit. And then that's what sucked you and was getting your ass kicked.
Yeah, man. I've never felt like I was always a scrappy kid. You know, a bit of a sarcastic mouth on me. Get myself and my brother get me in a little bit of trouble too.
Where'd you grow up?
Mississauga. I've always been in Mississauga most of my life. So.
Yeah. How old are you now?
32.
32.
Getting old, man.
Well, not really.
Had to think about that for a second. I always look at everything in MMA years, so I know 32. I'm getting there. So. But I've never felt more helpless in my life. Like that guy could have killed me at any point, man. I had no answer for him, so it blew my mind.
So now, you strike me as a guy who's very violent. Like you seem like and I'm not saying that you're violent because I think you're like mean. You seem like a guy who has your answer for everything should be violence.
I love the concept of violence in terms of, you know, people want to get philosophical about things, but the world has always been, I don't want to say dominated, but the course of history has always been a matter of those who can perform the violence or those who can stop the threat of violence. And the only thing that stops the threat of violence is violence. So, you know,
and you're a jail guard as well,
yes,
outside of being a professional fighter.
Yeah. In a regular capacity, I'm a correctional officer, and then I'm also part of their tactical unit.
Okay. How long have you been doing that?
The tactical unit, about 2 years now.
Okay, and you do a course like a self-defense course?
Yeah, I teach at a conference that happens once a year with a Gray Man conference with a bunch of other instructors. But I'm also developing a bit of a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu for law enforcement program myself.
They need it.
Yeah, they need it.
I think it's really good for them. I know a lot of police officers who do train, who do jiu-jitsu and do striking arts and stuff like that, and it helps them with their thing. How does it have you obviously had to use it in your work?
Yeah, I mean, we always have to say we use the cookie cutter use of force tactics that we're taught, but we all know that there's that gray area, right?
The inmates know that you're a badass?
The ear kind of sells it, but you know, I don't go around there peacocking or puffing my shoulders out, and usually fighters are like that. Fighters don't, they know they can fight, and I always say the one thing I know about all my years of fighting is I can win any fight, and I know how easily I can lose a fucking fight. All it takes is big overhand that I don't see, right?
Where'd you do all your jiu-jitsu?
I started with Scott Schilling.
Okay.
Until I was a brown belt, and I started training with Toma at Evolution, and then I almost dropped jiu-jitsu for a couple years and just did striking Muay Thai with Crew Gerald, and then
So you've been with them the whole time?
Yeah, and then I trickled to Parabellum, and things changed when I went to Parabellum. Yeah,
we had Rory on a couple of days ago, and he had a lot of nice things to say about you.
He's that gym changed a lot for me.
Yeah.
So really opened my eyes.
How come just lots of diversity of all the people?
The professionalism, the level. People don't understand if they don't train. They don't realize that these pro sessions at Parabellum, a lot of these guys that's not their home gym. So the amount of respect that they have to all come in there, and all these guys from different gyms, and they're able to train together, not hurt each other, follow the rules, respect the coaches, Rory, Lyndon, Lucas. That's based 100% on respect. That's the respect that all the fighters have for those guys, right? So
who's your main training partners?
It changes when we're there, but Scott Hudson's one. He's a monster.
He's a beast. I had Scott Hudson on my second professional show, and who did he fight? Joel Corbett.
Okay.
And I think he knocked him out the first round, and he then it just disappeared. And then I saw him on the BTC cards and stuff like that. Great training partner to have.
One of my favorite training partners. He's always honest with me, and he's not out there doing fancy stuff. He's hard work, man. He's tough. Yeah. He's grit.
I think he's next in line to get a call.
He's technical. He's clean, but he's not out there doing fancy stuff. He's just a savage. So I have a lot of respect for him. Vlad, again, a few dog fights with Vlad. Yeah. He's my homie. Kyle Nelson.
Yeah.
Get in there with Jesse Ronson's about to fight in the UFC. We get in there with him once. I train with the best, hands down. If you're a pro and you're not getting in there at Parabellum, you're missing out, man.
So how have you been since COVID?
Like I said, I don't speak too much about all this stuff.
Training in the park today.
Yeah, still get some training in. I got to select a few guys. I had to be a little careful with the baby, right? So I have to be very selective who I'm training with. It's not the same, obviously, but I'm still staying relatively active. I'm not getting the dad bod yet. So
well, I don't look like the type that would ever get a dad bod.
Yeah, well, try not to at least. You never know, right? You never know, right? So
yeah.
But,
let's go back to Toronto. That was your last fight with me. Yep. Actually, we could rewind back. Let's talk about the amateur circuit.
Okay.
Okay, because this is really cool. Because you went on a tear on the amateur circuit with Ace Fighting Championships, and I know Ivan Whitaker very well. And you seem to be like this untouchable force. And I was there for the Seth Connor fight, which happened and it was so fast. He was a high level jiu-jitsu guy,
and I wanted to bang, man. I wanted to get in there, throw hands.
He even said to me, because I talked to him upstairs where everybody kind of amalgamated and changed, and he was like, I wasn't expecting. I thought he was gonna strike, and then guillotine.
He forced my hand on that, right? I went in there with a hard 1-2, and I overcommitted and almost leaped into the 1-2.
Yeah,
and he right under it and rushed me to the cage. And I can't help myself. I've been doing jiu-jitsu for so long. If something's there, I'm snagging it, and I went hard for it.
If the amateur stuff didn't wash up, how many more amateur fights would you have done before turning pro? Were you forced to turn pro?
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't want to say forced, but there's always that sandbagging thing up in the air. But I wish it wasn't like that, because how many fights do boxers get amateur before they're going pro, right?
Lots. 50, 60, 70.
It's just not the same for MMA, right? The opportunities aren't there to build up that record, and you're getting hurt. I'd like to say, just with the punching and the kicking and the slams, that it's harder on the body. I don't know if you want to do 50 amateur fights not getting paid and with those little gloves, right? But I'm always iffy about my amateur career, as I finished so many fights so fast. One, it didn't do me any favors going pro trying to get fights.
It's I've told a lot of amateurs this. I remember one guy told me he was probably 2 fights in, amateur, had never had any other fights, no jiu-jitsu, and he goes, I'm going to do one more fight and I'm going to turn pro. And at the time, I was like, dude, where are you going to fight? It's not like you can just go pro and then all of a sudden you get a fight here, you get a fight there, you get a fight here. It's really, really hard to find fights. And if guys are bringing you in, they're bringing you in to lose. They're not going to bring you in to develop you. Or
I signed that contract with TKO, I knew what that was. I knew I wasn't going in there to get any favors, right? I knew I was going in there to fight guys that I'm supposed to.
Yeah, but you have so much fucking balls that you're just like, whatever, just give it to me.
For me, I've had so many fights fall through, man, that for me to not jump on an opportunity, that's not going to happen, right? And I feel like I do have a skill set where, I can compete with the best out there, Oh,
100%. 100%. So. And listen, your last fight with Zackery Powell.
Yeah.
That kid's a fucking animal.
Savage, man. He's going to be one of those ones that
Like,
that make it.
And
to
a
the
lot
big
of people were very, very surprised. And not that we brought Powell in to lose. That wasn't the case. I don't really bring guys in to lose. I bring guys in for a good fight.
I felt that.
Right. It wasn't. We're not. It doesn't do you any good, and it won't do me any good as a promoter to have a sandbag fight or a one-sided fight. You want to take the two best guys I can and match them up so that they're almost as equal as possible.
And anyone that follows anything in the scene locally, Ontario or Quebec, they know that if they're looking at me and they're looking at Zackery Powell, no one was getting brought in there to loot. Like no one was. It wasn't a setup. Like it was going to be a fight.
No, it was a tough fight. And I'm not sure if you're okay. We're talking about you were recently diagnosed with Crohn's.
Last year, like a year and a half ago.
So before the December
before the Powell fight, I got diagnosed just before the
Chrysalard fight.
The Chrysalard.
How's that affected your training? How's it?
It's changed my diet up a bit. It's made making 155 a little easier. Yeah. But I'm lucky. I was pretty bad, but I nipped it in the butt. Got everything in order.
So how did it all start? Like what were the symptoms?
Everyone with Crohn's is a little different. Some people, their like stomachs hurting. They always have to go to the bathroom. With me, it was blood loss. I was hospitalized for blood loss. I was anemic.
Like what do you mean blood loss from like just a regular cut or
no? Like I was
like from your stool?
Yeah, just blood, man. Like it looked like a bloodbath, and it was anemic, malnourished from it. It was bad, and it took probably. And I'm an idiot sometimes. Or more than sometimes, but it took a while before I really went, okay, maybe I should go to the hospital, go to the emergency room, and I was kept overnight.
And that was in the process of just before the Chrysalard.
That was just before the Chrysalard fight. I was kind of dipping into the fight camp. I was kind of dipping into the fight camp at that moment, and that's when it was really starting to affect me because now I'm dieting, putting my body through mass amounts of stress, and now I'm going through getting diagnosed with Crohn's, and it was a
Did you see
nightmare.
A specialist for your nutrition?
I had to see.
I
didn't see a specialist for my nutrition. I was seeing a specialist for
the Crohn's.
Yeah, and it's spicy food, and I'm Guyanese, man. I love my spicy food, so
he's Guyanese. Yes, scunt.
Yeah, right. So I like my spicy food. Yeah, my dad's Guyanese from Georgetown, so
no shit. Because I said to him, I go, De Freitas, is that Italian?
It's Portuguese, but there's a lot of Portuguese in Guyana. There was a lot of, right? So, but yeah, so I like my spicy food, and then just. It's the opposite of what you think. I'm not allowed to eat whole wheat or whole grain foods. When I eat bread or carbohydrates, it's got to be simple bleach stuff. So like Wonder Bread.
Really?
So yeah, so that kind of stuff that I need, but it's not exactly indicative of trying to make a weight cut. 155 crushing Wonder Bread, right?
I grew up in Scarborough, and I grew up with a lot of Guyanese.
Oh, I know,
like a ton. That's why I said yes, scunt.
Yeah.
And I used to go to my buddy's mom's house every day for lunch, and she'd have this pepper in a baby jar. Okay. It's really, really spicy. Yep. So it was like Scotch bonnets and apple. I make my own hot sauce at home. Okay. So it must be. I feel bad being.
I'm like I said, I'm dumb a lot of the time, so I still crush my spicy food.
So are you full
after.
Guyanese or half?
No, my mom's from St. John's, Newfoundland.
What the fuck is a Newfie? I'm a Newfie too.
Yeah, that's it, man. No St. John's, Kitty Bitty Lake, man.
So you're half Guyanese, half Newfie.
Half Guyanese, half Newfie.
That's a great mix.
Yeah,
they both say bye a lot.
Oh yeah, they do. It's actually pretty funny how similar they are, right? So
no shit.
The accents a little there.
I never would have known that.
Yeah, no.
I was thinking Italian because of the black hair.
I get Maltese a lot. Yeah, Portuguese. Yeah.
Yeah, Portuguese. Yeah, I can see
I get
that
Portuguese
too.
all the time. So
yeah, I used to when my hair was long as a kid. I used to get Portuguese, Greek, Italian. Get Greek. It was just like this dark, curly, wavy hair.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't know that in Newfoundland. Have you ever been to Newfoundland?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a few years, but I used to go every year.
Yeah,
we go for the regatta, and in August, go for the regatta. We're like a lot of my family is right on Kitty Bitty Lakes, right by Cabot's Tower. So
Georgetown Festival.
Oh, Georgetown Festival, yeah, that's a party, man.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
I like you even more, and I liked you like way more before.
I'm growing on you, man.
I'm growing on you. He's Guyanese. He's always Newfie too.
I'm growing on you. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you didn't have to kiss the cod. You were already a Newfie.
Already, Yeah. I've done it, but I didn't need to.
We used to drive every summer. My mom, my dad, my sister, in a small, tiny Cavalier. We used to drive from Toronto to not Port aux Basques, Nova Scotia, and then we would take the ferry.
Yeah.
The Caribou.
Yep.
And we go on the Caribou all the way over to Port aux Basques, and then we would drive like 8 hours to Newfoundland. My father, he's passed away now, but his family's from Botwood.
Okay.
So if you have about an hour or maybe 2 hours from Grand Falls.
Okay.
So it's kind of like straight up as opposed to. That's crazy.
Yeah.
These are new.
Actually, it's been, like I said, it's been years since I've been, but I think the last time I went, I was on a plane, and the whole time I was sitting next to Rick Mercer, man.
Really?
The whole way there, yeah.
You talked to him?
Oh, yeah. I shoot the shit with him. Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Oh,
I mean, this is years ago, but yeah, cool guy, man.
Yeah.
So I think that was my last time flying down there.
How long was that?
Oh, years ago, man. It's probably been 6-7 years since I've been back down there. So yeah, got to go back.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, I haven't been since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Everybody moved away. Everybody flew. There was no jobs there. Everybody flew off the rock. Everyone went. A lot of them went out west.
Yeah.
Because for work.
I think the economy's booming down there now, though.
Yeah.
So I think
I'd love to go back. I'd like to take my daughter back there.
It's a different vibe down there for sure.
Oh yeah, and then the air. I remember being 14 years old, and because of the saltwater air, I'd have a mustache in like 3 days.
Yeah, and you're ready to sleep by like 9 o'clock. Just all that fresh air breathing in. Yeah, you're tired by
That's amazing. Yeah. You're a newfie.
Yeah, newfie Guyanese, man.
Never known it.
I never would have guessed the
No,
Guyanese.
I was thinking Italian. I was like, he's got
no.
to be a De Freitas. Was it Italian?
Yeah, no, it's Portuguese, but yeah. Don't speak a lick of it.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah. So, you're a newfie.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I was gonna say, okay, let's. You're so mysterious that you have this like. I joked about you on one of the podcasts saying he's probably the type of guy that sleeps in a loft at nighttime, above a factory and beats up criminals in the alleyways while feeding homeless guys, like doing nice things. What's a daily routine life in Adam De Freitas?
Well,
because you're a dad. You're a dad. You work a lot.
Yeah. I
just want to know because the mystery's killing me.
Well, I work at a max detention center, so and I work an hour away. So, I'll get up most days. I'm up. If I work for 7 o'clock, I'm up by 3:30. Do my shower. Maybe take the dog for a walk. I usually go for a run or I do a workout, some sort of circuit, and then come back, quickly rinse off, and then I drive to work and there for 12 hours. All my shifts are 12 hours.
So how do you have time to train?
I'm very lucky. Not right now during the COVID, but we have a full gym, weight bags, like heavy bags. We got everything I need, and I train with. There's a few guys I work with that are Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu brown belts and stuff like that. But it wasn't an issue until I'm gonna have to change things around because Zackery Powell was another level, and I can't pull off the same bullshit I've been pulling off with fight camps and stuff. Well,
I know I know leading up to that fight, and I had spoken with you a bunch of times, and a lot of times I almost think you're gonna pull out of the fight. Just because
you'll never have me pull unless I got to be pretty injured to pull out of a fight. When I tore my hip adductor, like I tore it bad, doing rubber guard, and like it literally just popped, and it broke my heart because I still tried to, like I couldn't even throw a kick and balance on that foot without my body completely giving out. And I was bruised from my knee, my whole groin, upper body, just jet black. I'll show you pictures of it, and it still took probably a week and a half, 2 weeks of my coaches and my doctor telling me, you're not fucking fighting. And in my mind, I was like, I'm just going to go out there, and the first thing I'm going to do is throw a kick so that the pain kicks in, the adrenaline kicks in, and try to fight through it. But, saying that's why you got coaches, right? Talk some sense. And you're like, Adam, you're talking a 2-month recovery, 3-month recovery, or you go and fight, you're talking a year out, year and a half. But that was probably the only time I've ever backed out of a fight myself, and that killed me inside. But don't count on me to back out of a fight, man.
Yeah, because I just thought, and not because I thought you were going to back out of the fight because I didn't think you had what it took. It was more of a back out of the fight because you just have so much going on. You're a new baby, so a new baby work. Like, I don't know. I don't understand how you ever
in hindsight,
to train for a pro fight.
In hindsight, and I'm not going to lie, when Alex said Zackery Powell, I had that moment in my head. I'm like, fuck, like this guy's another level. And by no means did I count myself out. Like I know I can hang with a guy like that, but I was like, fuck, man, I just, brand new baby. I'm doing 84 hours a week minimum.
No sleep.
I regularly function on 3-4 hours of sleep, right? So, but, a lot of my fight camps at the jail, just hitting the heavy bag and lifting weights. And half the time that gets cut, we get one emergency code or my break gets cut short. It's not happening, right? So I've had too many fights not happen for me to turn down a fight in a big opportunity like that, and this card was a big one, man.
Yeah, at home,
there's no way I was
Toronto.
fucking missing it, right? So there's the opportunity outweighed what I should have been doing. So
what would you do differently if you could rewind it?
A lot of the fight camp, there was a lot of guilt. I felt real bad. You got to know I'm doing 12 hours at the jail, which really means 14 hours because I'm an hour there and I'm an hour back. And, the girlfriend's at home with the baby. So I'm missing that completely. I'm going to work, baby sleeping. I'm coming home, baby sleeping. And then on my days off, I'm doing 2 or 3 sessions a day.
Plus Crohn's.
Plus, like my Crohn's, I got in check, so I can't even use that as a crutch too much. I after the Allard fight, took a little bit, maybe a month or two, and I've been good. I'm on top of my meds, stuff like that. But there was just a lot of guilt. It was weighing on me. Not getting in the fight. I'd skip training sessions to be with the baby. And again, I don't want any of this to take away from what Zackery Powell did, because in the end, he was just stronger. He's better. His game was fucking tight on top. The guy was a monster on top. Even with these, I don't want them to sound like excuses, because even with these in, Zackery Powell went in there, and there's a good chance, even with a proper fight camp, that wouldn't have went my way anyways. He was clean and tight on top, right? So
that's what I was going to ask. Do you think it would be different if you didn't have all
I
these
would
cards
like
stacked
another
against
crack
you?
at him, but I know I feel like I didn't. It wasn't close, right? I played off my back. I played it safe. My mind wasn't in that fight, and I played it safe, and I didn't earn a rematch. I want to smoke a few guys, destroy a few guys,
back,
and then get another crack at him.
Yeah, I'd like to see fight him again.
And that's if Zackery Powell doesn't already make it to the big leagues, right? Like that's a guy that's probably gonna.
Well, they crushed combat sports, Quebec and
they did,
and the East Coast. So they didn't crush it, but they kind of crushed it.
And that makes me feel for a guy like Powell, right?
For sure. For sure, I feel
all marbles in, man. Right? Yeah. He's got everything in it, right? And, he's young, and I'm not trying to build myself up, but he handled me. So things were looking good.
It was a big surprise, and that was a fight that when we all looked at it on paper, we were like, ugh, we had no idea which way it could have went. And even when he said when he went out to visit him, and they recorded him for his videos, and it was literally, he's like, dude, this guy's really good. And they're like, nobody knew which way it was going to go.
I knew Zackery Powell was good. By no means did I knew he was a killer, right? Watched a few of his fights, but I got the vibe from him. He wasn't like the other guys I fought, right? So, and I fought some good guys. I've fought some guys that probably aren't that great, but like Patrick Connors, fought him. I train with him now. Kid's a stud.
Yeah.
He was on a bit of a tear. Kyron Cameron, I fought Kyron.
Did you really?
Oh, yeah.
That's right. You did.
I beat him, but he beat the shit out of me.
Yeah.
He didn't have a mark on him when we were done that fight, but both my eyes were swollen shut. I couldn't train for probably a month and a half after that. He kneed the shit out of me, busted my face up real good. I won on takedowns alone. And that was that weird Cask fighting when Cask was trying to run amateur MMA, and it was brutal.
Oh, that's brutal. When was that? Where was that?
Years ago. We did a Grand Prix. It was a Grand Prix style. So not after Kyron, probably half hour, 40 minutes after that, I had to fight another guy.
Really?
Yeah.
And did you win that fight too?
Yeah, I won by triangle in the first round, thank God. But Kyron went all the way, all decision, all 3 rounds. But
he's another one I've always wanted to get on the card
kid's
too.
A stud, man.
But it was like one of those, it just nothing lined up, or the card was too full. And you have to book 15 fights. 15, 16, 17 if you can. Because once you have 16 fights, like, boom, this one falls off. This
10.
guy gets, and by the time you get to fight time, you're down to 10 or 9 fights. So you got to overbook these fights. And Kyron was one of those ones is, okay, let's handle everybody that's local first. Let's get our all the ones that we want on the card. And then Kyron was always like a last, we just could never find the right matchup for him. But he's one that definitely I would like to get him on the card.
Yeah, he's always good to go to.
I really hope the shit comes back to normal.
It will. It's just, will it come back when we want, like as fast as we want it to, right? Like I'm not getting any younger. I made a plan. Like this was supposed to be me 3 years really going for him. I try to be pretty realistic with myself, right? I'm 32. I haven't taken a lot of damage, but I wanted to make some moves.
Yeah, so, absolutely. And you should, because you're good.
was the way to do it, right? Like you guys were really. Like that last show was unreal, man.
Yeah, super cool. Yeah,
the
momentum was great.
It was an experience. Just even the look of it, man. Like standing back and looking at the cage and the lights and the crowd, man. It was unreal, man.
Yeah, it was probably my favorite venue.
Yeah,
hands down.
Just I remember you calling me about it when you first were thinking about it. I'm like, man, like it.
Because I called you. I go, I'm thinking of doing a Rebel nightclub, and you're like, that would actually be pretty good. And people weren't really sure.
It looked ridiculous, man.
And even the venue themselves. said to me like, they didn't really care, but it literally like that same night they were like, whoa, like this. The venue was like, when are you doing the next one? I had May 30th booked.
So I was planning on trying to be on that one, man. I was stoked.
May 30th, and then I just seen on my phone the other day come up in the my calendar, and it said PFC 15. So it was July 17th. So we're going to do May 30th, July 17th, September 26th here in London for the charity event, which we had to cancel.
Yeah.
And then I was going to do October, November, wherever.
Just sucks. Feels like everyone's feet got cut out from underneath
them. So. Honestly, man, it fucking depressed me for...
all of us.
Probably like a good month. That's a lie. I'm still bummed about it, you know, because I felt like there was some momentum. I felt I had a real good take on man. You know, I had the right fighters. Everybody was like, oh, this is a steady show. It's not just do one and then disappear. It was like I was in for the long haul. I still am. I'm not. I'm not out. It's just now it's
new game plan, new approach,
pretty much.
Yeah, I'll even admit, like even the Allard fight. Like I remember kind of walking out, and the vibe was like, I don't know if it was because it was a bit of a smaller venue, so it just looked stacked. Like it just looked packed. Like
which one?
The Allard fight in Windsor.
In Windsor, yeah.
And it was just like
that's another great venue
and
too.
Man, just the whole thing, the lighting and the it was just it was dope. It was
that one was that was a great show. Windsor was the first time I ever stepped out of my own city.
Okay.
So I always did the fights here in London because it was local. I can drive to the venue. I can drive to a sponsor. Everything was all localized. Windsor, when do you know Reno Belcastro? Do you ever train with anyone from MTC at all?
No.
TJ, Tony, none of those guys.
No, I know of them. Like those kids are studs, but I've never.
Should make the trip sometime.
Yeah,
definitely. Like Reno Belcastro's a local legend in Windsor. Man, he's a high level kickboxer. He's worked with Sam Stout, Hominick. He's
all those guys.
He was tight with Tompkins. And obviously he's TJ and Tony's coach and Capri Polek and
those
Blake
guys are
Nash. Like there's so many studs
right?
out of that gym. Lance Knoll. Like I could go on. You should make a trip sometime to Windsor just to maybe put in some work sometime.
Yeah, but I do like changing up partners here and there just to kind of it's an eye opener, right?
Mix it up.
Yeah.
Reno said to me, "Hey, what about doing a show in Windsor?" I was like, "Okay, well let's talk about it." And he goes, and he's told me he's laid out his roster because it was all Windsor area. He goes, I could pull this in, I could do this, and I got this sponsor that would do it. I got a great venue, so it was him that was kind of pulling the strings along the way. And I remember I hadn't done an amateur show in a while, and I was just kind of like just sitting there, not knowing what to do. Alex Caparici flew in from Montreal to Windsor for the BTC show. BTC show.
I was supposed to fight for them a bunch of times.
And I remember we walked in and I saw Alex. I hadn't seen him since, because I did 3 pro shows first, and then I went on a whole bunch of amateur ones. And then I haven't seen Alex since the first 3 pro shows, which were back in 2014. So he flew into Windsor. We're all just hanging out, and I go, "We're doing a show, aren't we?" And everyone was like, "Well, that's the plan. Let's do it."
Alex felt he was a little tricked into that one, or no?
He felt the trick. Yeah, I think he did. And he even said, I would never come back into this if it wasn't for all you guys going, "Hey, let's take a run at it again." Because it's did you ever deal with Ken Hayashi for anything?
No, I mean I've heard the
guy's a nightmare.
I've heard the horror stories.
And it was easy to walk away from the pro side of things just because he made things that much more difficult.
Made it almost impossible.
You know, you would do your medicals. Like if he found out that you had Crohn's, he would find every excuse to not let you fight.
And that's what I was worried about that, right? Yeah. I'm like, and it really has nothing. Once I got everything in check, there's no issue, but I know how it is, right? One little thing, like, well, we want a specialist.
Right.
To sign off on that. And then like,
good luck finding a specialist on anything.
Just that's willing to sign, right? And I've done last minute, like I fought for Heroes Combat League and literally got my medical done day up, went to the emergency room and just had a doctor sign off on stuff.
You fought there too?
Fought for Heroes Combat League. I fought Matt Tarlow.
No shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, fought Matt Tarlow, yeah.
How'd that go?
Second round, I got mounted triangle, fed him a few shots and finished the choke from there.
So Matar is like very high-level striker.
Yeah. He was, I'd love to do that one over again because he's built a bit of a name for himself and TKO and stuff like that, right?
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, but...
Rob Vevers, don't steal that fight. Just kidding.
Actually, funny story about the last fight. I was supposed to fight And I'll try not to get angry about it, but Duncan Henry, or Henry Duncan, whatever it is, I was supposed to fight him twice. Mm-hmm. So first time I go to fight him for BTC, 2 weeks notice, he backs out. It's happened to me a million times. Rob said it was family shit. Man's got to take care of his family, whatever it is. Don't ask details. I messaged him, said, hey, man, sucks on 2 weeks notice, but family first. Take care of your shit. Hope your family's okay. We'll do it again. Mm-hmm. And he went back and he, from what I understand, basically begged for the fight again. So now that's one fight camp wasted on him. Now 4 or 5 months ahead, go to fight him again. He shows up an hour and a half late for weigh-ins, 17 pounds overweight.
Jeez.
Yeah. And me, I'm still like...
Oh, so you weighed in and then the fight got canceled. I didn't know that.
17 pounds commission, wouldn't let a fight like that. He's like 2 weight class above you. It's a liability. It's not happening. Because I'm like, I don't care, man. Like, I'll throw a weight in my boxers and weigh in again, and
Keister bunny.
I'll go to McDonald's and crush a few Big Macs if I got to. Like, if the guy showed up 17 pounds overweight, he wasn't no Brock Lesnar. He got 17 pounds. He had a gut lock on him, right? I was gonna still crush him, but the reason I'm saying that is because after the Zackery Powell fight, I didn't even get home that night before I popped my phone on. I got a message from that guy.
Really?
Man, you played a rubber guard off your back. You fucking suck. I wish we fought. You know?
No.
Oh, yeah. Chirp. Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. What's his name?
Duncan Henry.
It's Duncan?
Duncan, I believe. It's either Duncan Henry or Henry Duncan.
Okay. Where's he from?
I'm not sure, actually. I mean, he's from Ontario.
Yeah.
But he's fought, not King of the Cage, Hard Knocks.
Okay.
But, yeah. Supposed to fight him twice, and that's just, I get angry about it because that's like a year.
And he messaged you?
I didn't even make it home, so he literally must have messaged me as I'm getting stitched up in the back because Zackery Powell split me open 4 or 5 stitches over the right eye, right?
Do you have insurance?
No.
You should get it, bro.
I remember you.
I think I talked to all these different fighters. I'm like, dude, stitches could have landed you $3,000, something like that, 3,000 something.
Get on that.
You should. Next, I tell everybody they should get it. You should get it right away, especially when you have a fight coming up, especially in your line of duty that you work at.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's a dangerous job.
That's another thing, another constant fear during these fight camps, right? It's like I can't let these fight camps and possibly fighting get in the way of the stuff I got to do at work. So there's been times, again, I can't discuss work too much, but there's been times where it's about to get physical and I'm 2 days out from a fight and I'm like, fuck me, don't get injured. But I got officers that rely on me and I rely on them and I got to do my job. So it's always that little thing in the air too, constant anxiety every time I go to work.
Yeah. Do you know Leo Laux?
No.
He's a local kickboxing legend in London. He's a former correctional officer, but now works for OPP. He's retired now. Okay. But he did all the striking with Ronson, Hominick, all the adrenaline guys.
All the greats.
Yeah, he's just. I had him on the podcast a while back just because he's a great man. When he told me a story, I don't know if it was his story or somebody that he worked with. I might be messing it up. But a guy at the prison covered himself in shit. That happens. And basically was like,
bring it.
Yeah, come, let's fight. So what do? You got a guy covered in feces, all over. You imagine like crapping in your hand and smearing it and going, okay, come on. And he said they were all standing there not knowing what to do, going, okay, what do we do? Do we go after this guy covered in shit and it is what it is and then just clean up after? And the guy goes, no. Oh, hold on a second. He walked around the corner and came back with the fire hose.
Yeah, that doesn't fly anymore, but that would work.
But these are old school stories.
Yeah, that shit doesn't fly now.
You can't do that anymore?
Oh, no. You can't do that. Yeah.
Even if what do you do if he's covered in shit?
That would be when the tactical team would get called in and then it's a discipline show of force and then there's...
Shields
and there's non-lethal types of ammunition that would get him to comply with direction before.
Rubber bullets?
All that kind of stuff, yeah. So there's...
What is the tactical team? Is that like a sort of when things are at hand type of thing?
Or so if there's something like when we're talking a planned use of force, when you know that opening this door, it's going to get violent, that's like correctional officers aren't signing up to get assaulted, right? So I work with a lot of great officers that aren't use and force inclined, but they're intelligent and they're compassionate and they're able to talk a guy that maybe just covered himself in feces and maybe 10 minutes of talking with the right officer and that guy's sticking his hands through the hatch and handcuffing and complying with directions. So it doesn't always need to be this disciplined show of force, but sometimes it is. But a tactical team would get called.
Because I think a lot of them because we watch Hollywood, we see movies, see the correctional officer, guys getting beaten, the shit kicked out of them all the time.
Green Mile is probably the only movie in Hollywood that depicts
Really?
correctional officers in any sort of good
Because they're
good light, right?
You're humanitarians. You're there to rehabilitate and watch over them.
We're definitely not there to we're not there to cause problems. We're just there to, do our job, right? So I guess the problem with corrections or just jails and detention centers and prisons in general is a lot of the public thinks that once the pedophile or the rapist gets arrested, that he disappears. Well, that guy still needs to get 3 meals a day. That guy still needs to get health care, right? So then that's where correctional officers come in. They facilitate that kind of stuff, right? So it's pretty dangerous work. But a situation like that, that's when the tactical team would get called in. We don't work with lethal ammunition. Everything's non-lethal. But that's when disciplined show force come in and still give him plenty of opportunities to comply with loud verbal commands and direction.
So you can't whip out the fire hose?
No, fire hose is a big no-no.
Yeah, they said
it would work.
Yeah,
it would
he told me. He
work.
said they pulled the fire hose on him and they just hosed him down until he was in the corner of the wall, until he was all cleaned off, and he was begging for them to stop.
Things are a lot more. Human rights are really an emphasis in it now, and everything is. Well,
it's about rehabilitation.
Rehabilitation, and clearly someone who's just covered themselves in feces has a mental illness, is probably in a moment of crisis. So we try not to go that kind of route.
Do you see that kind of shit though? Like, is that a common thing for someone to go like, are you allowed to talk about the crazy shit?
I could talk to to some degree. I can't talk about the tactics we use or the types of ammunition we use, but I think it's common knowledge to the people that are willing to talk about it, realize that a lot of our mentally ill people that are in crisis and tend to get violent during that mental crisis, our province, probably the country as a whole, doesn't do much for them. So they do end up incarcerated, and then correctional officers have to try to work with them. Right?
So there's not a lot of mental health professionals?
We do have them, but we're still detention centers, jails. They're not always indicative of a rehabilitative setting.
They tie your hands up a lot? Meaning on the things that you can't do?
There's a lot of red tape, and there's a lot of rules and stuff like that. But there are social workers, there's all that stuff. But there's still some people that just they don't want to talk to a social worker. They're really sick, and part of their sickness is being violent. Right? There's a lot of guys that are when they talk about defund the police and give money to, and I'm 100% for more money going into social services and mental health advocacy and all that stuff. But I mean, a lot of these guys are not a lot, but a lot of mentally ill people are in jail or detention centers because they assaulted their social worker, and their social worker pressed charges. Right. So
you ever think about policing?
I dig jail, man. I do well in there. I kind of live off it. I don't. Yeah. It's probably, I shouldn't be proud to say that, but I just
that's a great job.
I thrive in the chaos. I was victim services for years, so I like talking through situations. I know I'm a fighter, but I like talking my way through situations too, and working with that kind of stuff.
Usually the most dangerous guys are usually very level-headed, and they don't want to go.
We have the skill set as a fighter, and I work with some other correctional officers that are fighters too, tough guys. We're able to allow the envelope to be pushed on the effect. So if the mentally ill person, the person who's sick, who's in crisis, I don't have to overreact to his threats because I know what I'm capable of. So I can let him tire himself out. I can let him not get violent with me, but that threat of violence can be there, and I don't have to act on it yet. I have that right. So it helps. But when you talk about a guy that's covered himself in feces, that happens. Clearly that someone is sick. Can't do that anymore though with the hose. That's I've definitely heard those stories, old school corrections. But that stuff doesn't fly right now. No, there's a process dealing with social workers, crisis negotiators, form wanting them, bringing them to the hospital, stuff like that.
So is that something that probably a lot of people don't realize, that there's so many, I would imagine people have a perception that it's almost like a free-for-all in there, right? You watch Prison Break and it's just these asshole guards who are smashing prisoners.
Exactly.
There's probably is there a lot of checks and balances?
There's a lot of checks and balances, but there's also a lot of red tape, I would say, that stops us from facilitating the flow of contraband in the jail. And there's this constant fight between human rights, which even inmates, and sometimes it's hard to swallow this, but even your rapists and your pedophiles in Canada, they're entitled to specific rights. So it's hard to do the things we need to do sometimes and still keep true to those human rights, right? So we're bound like that. But it's not the Wild West in there anymore. Like, it's not, officers aren't in there crushing skulls. It's quite the opposite, right? Our use of force is very cookie cutter, very strict in what we're allowed to do, and anything outside of that without mitigating circumstances and variables can land you in trouble. Like that George Floyd thing, putting your knee on someone's neck. If I did that for 3 seconds in my job, I'd be brought upstairs, probably suspended. That shit doesn't fly. Now in transition, could my knee be on his back for a second? That's just a gray area of a scuffle. But for me to put my knee on an offender's neck, even for a couple seconds, with the intent and malice that you could clearly see that officer had, that shit doesn't fly. Yeah, I don't think that shit flies in any ministry in Canada, any type of law enforcement, corrections, federal corrections, any type of police service. That shit doesn't fly. So
yeah, I had a buddy do time in San Quentin.
Okay.
And he told me he got in a fight with 2 Mexicans. He was native. He got in a fight with 2 Mexican guys. And he fought one on the yard. He fought the one guy for like 20 minutes. So it means there was nobody around. He fought the one guy for 20 minutes. They took a break. He fought the next guy for 20 minutes. And then again took another break. And then after that, I was accepted by everybody because it was like, because he held his own for so long.
There's still those old school jail rules still. Yeah. Some of them are still there, you know, like clearly if you're a sex offender, you've hurt children, that's why you sign protective custody. The old school inmates or guys that don't have those charges aren't fond of you, to say the least, right? So those old school things, I mean, it's changed. It's not like the movies. A lot of those. It's just
that's the big misconception is you automatically assume as a jail guard you're dealing with shitbags all the time, and you're beating them up or you're leaving the door open so a guy can go in and juke the guy up.
There's a lot of guys in there that I can do a tour. I can tour a range with 30 guys, and I can shoot the shit with lots of them, man. They're just guys in there for certain circumstances, you know. You know, got caught doing something that a lot of people probably do, you know, guys that drink and drive. They're not necessarily all bad people in there. Like I said, I can tour and shoot the shit. And
we had an epidemic here, man. It's still kind of around is inmates dying. Overdose.
Yep. Oh, that's probably every law enforcement, ours too, for fentanyl and carfentanol.
Yeah. How they get that stuff in there? Keister?
Well, yeah, the jail wallet, I would say, but there's also you can never really nip it in the butt. But they go to court every day. There's
if you had
lots of
full
ways.
control, how would you stop it from getting in? How are they getting it in? Do you know?
Man, that might be above my pay grade. I mean, it involves that philosophical argument. How much human rights are you willing to violate to stop the flow of the narcotics into the jail, right?
So are they bringing it in themselves, or are they having somebody else?
It's like a multi.
Because I always wonder that. Because I had a friend, he died in jail, drug overdose.
It's terrible.
It's fucking super terrible. But at the same time, I'm like, how are they getting this? How are they getting it in? You think everything was locked down. The guy comes in, and it's like, I've heard stories. The guy, come in, the guy's got to turn around. He's got to spread his cheeks. They say, hey,
I mean, we have scanners, but again, they're like any machine. They can be tricked, and then you never know. They go to court every day. They can bring it in themselves. I'm sure. Listen, it's complicated, and I'm trying not to get myself in trouble talking about it. But I'm sure in some facilities, there's officers bringing it in, there's volunteers bringing it in, lawyers bringing it in. They're bringing it in themselves, and every jail is probably a little bit more of one thing than the other. Yeah. But minus all that, the fact is, it's still getting in. Yeah. And inmates are. It's not. I mean, we're in danger of it too, but it's the inmates that are dying from it. Yeah. Right. So they still got a lot of work to do on trying to figure that out, because the more we go towards the human rights thing, and again, I'm not against sticking up for human rights, but some of those human rights will get in the way of us
being able to stop
right? Because there's human rights advocates. Saving lives. Yeah, there's human rights advocates that are saying that we shouldn't be able to do strip searches. It's against someone's human right to make them strip naked for you if they don't want to. It's almost constituting rape, right? Can't cut their clothes off anymore during a scuffle, or you can't we're constantly teetering on that line, and not only is it probably above my pay grade, but I haven't dived into the ethics and the philosophy of
You almost think if they were if they had left the prison and they come back, you sit them in a room for 48 hours until they took a crap. You can they can empty out. There's really
they can hold it, but if they swallowed it, they can have it for days in them, right?
Wow.
So it's and then these guys, the ones that are really good at it, they're good at it, right?
Yeah.
So there's only so much we can do, but we're all trained as officers with our Narcan kits, and we still have a duty. We have to be safe, but we have a duty to get in there and to save their lives. So there would never be an opportunity as a correctional officer that I would walk by and see an inmate in distress like that, and not go in there and try to help them. And that's definitely ministry wide. We're not there to let inmates die. So we're there. We have Narcan, we have all that, and I work with a lot of great officers that have saved a lot of inmates, and that shit never makes the news. But it happens all the time. CPR, Narcan. I've seen officers bring guys back from being blue. They're done.
That's crazy.
And you never see that stuff make the news.
Yeah.
You hear it when an inmate dies from fentanyl, and it's tragic, and it shouldn't happen because that stuff shouldn't get into the institution. But I work with a lot of great officers that have saved a lot of lives and put their lives at risk doing it, because that stuff can cross-contaminate you. Gets on your lips, gets on any opening like that, and you'll drop too, right? So,
when I was a teenager, my buddy was doing time in the East Detention Center in Scarborough, and Collect called me, and he's like, hey, we're talking on the phone, and he goes, hey, he wanted weed. He goes, when you come and visit me, but what you do before you come into the waiting room where we see each other, go to the bathroom. He goes, my job...
Under the toilet or something
Yeah,
like
he goes,
that?
my job was to clean his job was to clean the bathrooms. So he goes, just put it in in the paper towel dispenser.
Yeah.
He goes, just put it there and I'll get it later. And I was like, really? And I was scared shitless.
Yeah, you get charged for that, man.
Yeah, I remember going into the jail to visit him. I remember checking in, giving my ID, signing everything in. And he goes, okay, go over there, wait in there. And it was probably like, I don't know, half quarter weed or something. It wasn't a lot.
Nothing
but,
really, yeah.
But I was
Which
worried.
probably goes for a lot in whatever institution.
I was worried about stinking. I was worried about and I just saw him through the glass.
Yeah.
But literally, it was like I went to the bathroom. I was scared. I was sweating. I pulled the thing up. I stuck it in. I closed it up. Washed my hands. Went back. Picked up the phone. Saw him shoot the shit. I go, yeah. It's all good. It's there. We're good. And laughed at him because of his shoes, because we were wearing Velcro shoes.
Yeah.
And then I snuck drugs into a jail.
Yeah. And I mean, in hindsight, you can get a lot of trouble. And when I've had talks with visitors coming in, and you kind of get a vibe, and you're like, get in a lot of trouble,
Yeah.
But and that just goes to show you've done something like that.
Yeah.
And you could have easily ended up in an institution. And like I said, I can easily arrange that you'd be in, shoot the shit with you, man. It doesn't mean you're a fucking bad guy. You made a stupid choice. You didn't. And I'm sure all the stupid shit you've probably done now you have a kid. That shit doesn't.
I never do.
No, I know that. Obviously,
now,
right?
I was a teenager at the time, and now I even look back at it and go, "What the fuck were you thinking?"
And I can go back for a million things and think this, fuck, I could be in jail for shit I've done, right? So that's why I try not to have that mentality when I'm touring a range or talking.
So, your son's name is Logan.
Logan.
So you got an obsession with comic books? What's the deal, man?
I like short, powerful names, man. So
yeah.
And again, working at an institution, a lot of the names I like, I unfortunately associate them with certain guys, and I don't like it. I really like the name Wade, I like the name Bruce, but went with Logan, Wolverine.
Yeah. Because you got the Punisher tattoo. Because I call you the Punisher myself.
I like it.
Punisher,
Thank you.
The Punisher.
That's a compliment, man.
Because you look like the Punisher. I
appreciate it.
And I grew up on
I dig it.
on the Punisher comic books.
My ego is going to be huge by the time I get home. I dig it. It's good.
But I always refer to you as the Punisher because you always have a 5 o'clock shadow. I don't think I've ever seen you clean shaven. And if you probably
don't
shave
say that too loud because my employer wouldn't like it. But
you probably shave in the morning and you get hair.
By the end I'm 5 o'clock. So
it takes me 6 months to get a bit of facial hair. But yeah. So is there no obsession with comic books? That's just
I'm not a diehard. I don't have the massive collection, but I gotta fucking love Deadpool. I love the Punisher. I know they're so opposite in so many ways, but I relate to both. But I love all that shit, man. I just got the Snake Eyes tattoo. I dig
that's
that.
really cool.
I just like warrior shit, man. I love all those badass characters that can just handle their shit, especially the guys that can handle it with a knife or their hands, right?
Oh fuck yeah!
So I dig that stuff.
Because I always wonder, what's up with the fucking snakes, bro? I see you got you got this new magic box. It's like white box, so you can take these pictures of these snakes.
Just a flash box, whatever.
But like, I see you say, oh, this type of breed, it's this, and then I'm like, dude, snakes.
I've been working with snakes, and
so what do you do with the snakes?
I breed them, just put them on displays. It's actually a pretty big industry, man. But I work with some pretty cool stuff now. I've had to change what I keep. Before the baby was born, I was keeping some.
She's nodding her head.
A lot of tarantulas and scorpions.
Really?
A lot of scorpions.
How come? What's the?
I got a big dog at home too. I got a big Corso.
Yeah.
And she's dumb and she's clumsy, and I started having nightmares about deadly scorpions in my house and my pregnant girlfriend getting stung, and I'm the idiot that was keeping bugs that could kill my family, right? So, but probably your top 6 deadliest species of scorpion. I had dozens of them, all completely legal, shipped to your door.
You handle them?
Not like I worked with them. I have a healthy respect. If you're keeping animals like that, you have a healthy respect. So I had all my tools. I never like openly have them in my hands. I had some scorpions that could shoot their venom 1 meter, 2 meters. So
What do you mean shoot? Like shoot from the tail?
Shoot out their tail 2 meters.
Really?
You wear goggles when you're messing.
No way! I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Do they know to aim for your eyes or something?
Oh, they don't have good vision. They'll just aim for center. Like they'll see the shadow and they'll aim for center mass.
So what kind of that? Just
from what I can remember,
if you weren't such a great guy, people think you're psycho.
I know. I don't work with dangerous snakes now. I work with a lot of snakes, but I work with a lot of like rare garter snake species, endangered species like that. I got a few endangered, like San Francisco garter snakes. They're critically endangered. Black belly garter snakes, another endangered species from Mexico. I work with stuff like that.
And this is all at your house?
All at the house.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
But yeah, my uncle used to live with us when I was really small, and he had snakes, and probably got me hooked. And my mom made the mistake of letting me probably buy it. I think it was a newt, like a fire belly newt, and she was fucked after that. The house was full of shit after that. And I've had everything. I've 14-foot Burmese pythons, crocodiles. I've worked with rattlesnakes. You name it, man. I've worked with some cool stuff. So
that's cool.
Yeah, man.
What Reed was saying when he was on that, you want to get involved with like conservation?
I work with. It's hard because the animal trade in itself is an issue. So just me owning snakes is technically an issue in conservation. But what you do is there's the need, there's the supply, and there's the need for it. There's a lot of collectors. It's a big, expensive industry. What you do is you have a species so I have San Francisco garter snakes. There's probably 2,000 of those left in the wild. That's about it. I got them imported from Europe, from a zoo or from a collector in Europe who got them out of the country probably decades ago when they were legally allowed to leave the country, because right now in California, they're not leaving. What I can do is I can provide the industry with those animals instead of them being wild collected. So a lot of these animals people want, instead of some collector going them or ripping them out of the wild, you get high-end guys who know what they're doing, import these animals, breed them, and offer captive-born animals. So that's my little part of conservation, but I wouldn't go as far as saying like I'm not out there in the field doing what some of the great like herpetologists and conservationists are doing, really protecting animals, right? But I can offer endangered animals. I used to work with parachute spiders, critically endangered spiders, same thing.
Spiders scare the shit out of me.
The only animal that really scares the shit out of me is centipedes, man. I still get the heebie-jeebies, and I've worked with some big like Amazon stuff that can eat full-grown mice, man. And I'll probably never get over that to give me the fucking heebie-jeebies.
I lived in Thailand half a year doing Muay Thai.
Yeah.
And we were in the ring one day, and it was a rest. It was between rounds. So where everybody was around the ring, kind of just lounging. And the Thai guy comes running, and he's got a pen, and he has this, like flaming hot red, a thumb thick
Centipede.
Yeah,
fuck that. I'd be out too.
he has it on the pen, and he went like this. He goes, he throws it into the ring. He goes, "Oh, you work footwork," and everybody, like at the same. I was like, they ran towards it. Yeah. He was running with a pen.
There's only been one recorded death. I think it was in Vietnam, and I believe it was a little girl got bit in the face while she was sleeping. It was just complications, but no one's ever died from a centipede bite. But I'd be out of the ring too. I'm not fighting because they'll get you.
You ever watch that Coyote Peterson? He lets himself get bit and
stuff like that. Yeah, where it's like he wears the hat. He's trying to kind of be the next crocodile hunter, but
he did one with the centipede.
Yeah.
And he said it was the worst one out of all of them. Like he did the bullet ants, the murder wasp. What's I don't know the real name for it, but He's on all those, and that was the one he said
I've
was
been
the
by a
worst.
few tarantulas. I've been stung by lots of scorpions. Never been. I don't get close enough to the centipedes to fuck her. They just freak me out, man.
So what happens when you get stung by a scorpion?
All depends on the species. I've been stung by like an Asian forest scorpion, which is just hurts. Desert hairy, I lost a bit of mobility in my fingers for a bit.
Where'd they get you? Just handling
Yeah,
them?
just
or?
me. You mess with the dangerous species, they don't fuck around playing with the tools. But the stuff that I know can't kill me, and if I just need to move it, you just grab by the tail and you move it. And I've been stung a few times.
You're
Few
crazy.
species. Not the deadly
madman.
stuff. I
This
don't
guy's
mess
a
around with the
madman.
deadly stuff, man.
You are crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
But-
amazing.
Yeah, most scorpions, there's very few that'll kill you. Most of them are just like a bee sting or a little stronger than a bee sting.
Are the clear ones more dangerous than the dark ones?
Generally,
Or is
how
it
it
vice
goes
versa?
is tail size and pincer size. So the smaller the pincers and the thicker the tail, the more
More venom?
venomous. If they got the big claws like the emperor scorpions, they crush
Harmless.
stuff right there. Emperor scorpion's probably less than a bee sting. And they'd be more inclined to pinch you before they'd sting you.
What's the pinch like? Strong?
Yeah, it most of the time freaks you out more than anything. You got this big old black scorpion pinching on you, you kind of freak out,
Yeah.
right? But no, it's not too bad. It's like most snake bites don't hurt. You'll
Your
bleed
girlfriend
like
must be like, here,
Eh.
no, I'm not having it.
she's sick of it. Oh shit, I got it. She's happy we got rid of all the bugs and stuff.
Oh,
but
did you get rid of everything since the baby?
Any bugs, then anything I think could hurt her or the baby or anyone else is gone. Right? And
So she's tamed you quite a bit. Then.
baby will do that to you.
Yeah, they do.
They don't want to be that idiot. So
Like being a dad?
love being a dad, man.
Yeah, game changer. Huh?
That's a huge game changer.
Does it make you think differently now with fighting? Now that you're a dad? Like I was telling you before.
No,
we
I'm
started.
almost more into it now. I want my son to grow up and fucking be able to go, be in that recess yard and be like, for real, yo, my dad could kick your dad's ass. You know,
Yeah.
like I dig that. I want that. I want my son to grow up,
Would you let your son fight?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. I mean, I'd have a talk with him if he's out there being Chris Lieben, letting himself get dinged up all day. But, I think a man should be smart, should be able to take care of his family. But, man, you got to know how to fight, man. And there's no better way of finding out if you know how to fight than MMA is probably the closest you'll get, the safest you'll get to real fights. And,
Fuck, I want to get back soon, man. I want to get you back in there again.
I'm in, man.
Like I really want to get you back in just because I think the last one was not that it was expected to go either way because nobody really knew. Like I said, it was such a tough matchup. But I just want to see you get another kick at it because I don't want to see your last fight be a loss.
I'm dying inside knowing that probably for 2020 I got to end it on a loss. I wanted to get other than Zackery Powell split me open in that first, and I remember feeling that hot feeling of blood going down my face. And you can look at the video. I look right up at the big screen, start laughing because I'm like, "Fuck me!" First round, I'm already fucking gushing, already bleeding. I laughed about it, and Robin Blackman said he asked. There was a point where the ref was yelling at him to stop sticking his fingers in my eyes, and he wasn't. Right, and he said it like 3 times to him right after he cut me. And it was him just trying to posture up and do more damage. And he straight up said to me in the middle of the fight, he's like, "Hey man, like, am I eye gouging you?" And I said, "No, bro, keep fighting." And I smacked his back. And I always look back at that. I'm like,
what if
fuck
they
me.
took
Could
it as
you
a tap
imagine they
out?
took that as a tap?
That would really
Thank God
suck.
that ref was.
Who would you have for the ref? Do you remember?
I can't remember.
Was that second round or
First round.
First
He
round.
split me probably a minute left in the first round. He postured up. He hit me with 2, and the second one split me.
No, when you said that to him.
So it was
those
probably
first-
10,
okay,
15
fine.
seconds after. I think with all the blood and him trying to posture up, he was putting his hands on my face. But Zackery Powell's a clean fighter, man. He ain't trying to fucking. There's no need to eye gouge a guy you just split open, right?
Yeah,
So
maybe
he wasn't.
perception, the referee.
Yeah, or the
maybe
ref
way
was giving the
angle
warnings,
at.
maybe keep his fingers on my face, but he wasn't doing anything. He was just trying to do some damage, and I said, "Keep fighting, bro. Let's do it." And I fucking smacked his back like an idiot. Do you imagine I went out like that?
I smacked as we tapped out.
And in hindsight too, like walking out there, man.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to be there, if I'm being honest. Like it was just with the baby and the I knew it wasn't. It just I had a bad feeling, and I walked out there, and I'm still going to fight. And I just remember I think it was second round. He had me in a arm triangle, and it was fucking tight. And I had a split second. It felt like 30 or 40 seconds, but I had a split second where I was like, I can tap. I can get the fuck out of here.
Go home.
And I got caught.
No
Go
one think
home. No
anything
one's
of
going
it.
to be
No
like,
one
"Oh,
thinks
you,
everything
you tapped
anyway."
out the strikes or you gave it up." It was clean. He slipped through. He got the head and arm, and then I just had that like, fuck that. I don't tap. I'm fucking fighting this, and I had to grab my own leg and get out of it. But
you had a moment.
loss
You
was
had a moment where you felt like you wanted to take.
yeah,
the
because I
L?
remember like we were backstage, and I'm saying all the things I need to say to my coaches, and And I just felt like I didn't put in the work, but I did. I put in work, man. Like, again, I'm not trying to make excuses because Zackery Powell could have just probably easily still did what he did. But you know, even the game plan, like the game plan was stick and move, fucking strike with him, and it was just I felt getting safe, fight off my back, and you know, and he closed the distance. He did what he was supposed to do too. But I remember, I think it was Rory, and he said it in my last fight too with the Allard. He's like, my music started, and Rory was like, Adam, you walk out when you're ready to walk out, you know, and just kind of giving that, like, this is your fucking show. And with the Allard fight, I was like, yeah, and I waited, and I waited for my song, and I waited for the perfect time, and I came out, and I was feeling fucking good. This one, I literally looked at him and I said, let's get this fucking night over with. And I had people messaging me too saying, Adam, like, you looked off walking out. Like, I was just zoned out, but...
Was there pressure fighting at home? I know you fought at home a bunch of times.
No, there was no pressure.
Because Windsor, there was no pressure. You were 4 hours away.
The pressure with the Windsor fight was, I was a fucking monster as an amateur. I was built up real good. And I didn't want to go out there and my pro debut lose. Yeah. And Allard's a good fucking fighter, right? And he's a submission guy too. I'm like, there was a couple heel hooks and ankle locks. Like, I wasn't walking right for a little while after that. Really? Oh yeah. I walked out of that ring, and by the time we got out of the arena at the end of my fight, I was limping. We actually had tickets to go see Alexis on Fire the next day, and I had to give those fucking tickets away.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, bro.
Yeah, no, way better experience winning that fight because Allard was the perfect fight, man. Allard was a no joke, brought out a fight in me, tough guy. I'm very proud of a win over a guy like that because that guy's no joke. So, and I was in some hairy situations, man. Like those heel hooks, that one knee bar at the end.
Yeah, shout out to Stratford BJJ.
Yeah, man, that kid's a stud. And what I like about Allard is that guy's not taking any easy fights, man. What was the last guy he just fought? Is it Gabe or Xavier Nash? Yeah. And that guy's no joke. Yeah, right? That guy's not
Kevin not Kevin Nash. Blake Nash's brother.
Yeah, that guy's no joke. So he's not looking for gimme fights. That guy's just a fighter through and through. So I got a lot of respect for that guy. A lot of respect. So I'm glad that was my first fight and a win over that I'm proud of.
So, well, for sure you should be. You should be.
Yeah. I wanted to ask earlier, you were saying it was a kind of wake up call this last fight, and then you wanted to change things going into your next fight.
The loss of Zackery Powell's probably the best thing that ever happened to me, other than the fact that now I got to end the year in a fucking loss because of this COVID shit. Yeah. But he was to step up, and he was like, Adam, you can't. I've gotten away with. I put in my time. I put in my fight camps, but I'm catching guys, and I'm like, most of my fights are 30 seconds long. My amateur fights, right? Even like a guy like Patrick Connors, who's a fucking stud. I finished him in a minute and 10 seconds, right? I have to step it up. I gotta organize a fight camp. I have to have that shit written down. I was usually
professional now, right?
Professional. I had to fly off. I can't just, oh, hey, what's going on today? I'll do this today. No, I need a written down fight camp. You can't fight Zackery Powell's the way I did my fight camp. And again, I still trained. I was good to go, man. Like I was in shape.
Sometimes going back to the drawing board can read, and I've talked about this before with Tony and TJ. When you have this hype train, we'll call it, and you get so far, but you've never tasted loss. You're only getting the win.
It's been a while, yeah.
And then when you taste defeat, you either pack it in and never do it again and quit, or you go, okay, how do I make that never happen again? I think coming off of this loss, I think we'll see a completely different Adam De Freitas.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that's why I'm frustrated because now I can't. Well, I will, but I can't now. This COVID shit's got, I've got this fucking fire now, and I don't like losing. And I don't want to end this year on a loss, but it's going to happen. We're not fighting 2020. I don't think so. I don't think so either.
I talked to the commission last week, even just discussing, because one, I wanted to find out if Ontario was going to do the same thing as out east. Yeah. So no shows until vaccine, that could be fucking 3 years.
Some vaccines take 8 years.
Right? Like so it's not like it's one of those, they're going to have it fucking next week. I can't see it happening anytime soon.
And that's why I hurt for a guy like Zackery Powell. Like, I got a career, man. I got a pension. Like, I'm able to put food on the table for my kid and diapers, and I'm not worried like that. Like, this is a guy who's done what he's supposed to do. He's done what he's supposed to do. He's putting it all in. He's training. He's a fucking stud. And he's got no venue to... He's got bills, I'm sure. He's got, and even minus his bills, The kid's in the best shape of his life. He just smashed me. And now you're just like, hey, hold the horses, buddy. You might not fight for a year and a half. You know, Quebec, by the time medicals are done and, you know, are there any venues that are going to be able to put on the show? You know, like there's a lot of what ifs for a guy who's trying to make a career, like really putting shit on hold for him. I feel
bad for all the fighters.
I do, yeah. I got a personal relationship with Zackery Powell because he put his elbow to my fucking head, you know? So, yeah.
I handle that so well, too. You just, that's what I like about you. You're very honest.
Yeah.
You tell it like it is.
Fighting, you can't lie during a fight, man. You know? I tried rubber guard a lot. It was just he shut my left leg down. He was so tight on top. He didn't do he wasn't, minus the elbows, he wasn't hurting me. And it almost didn't make me, like, I didn't do what I was supposed to do because I wasn't, like, he was chess player on top. He beat me in the chess game, man. I was tunnel vision trying to go for shit that I've won fights with for so long. And it wasn't going to work on a guy like Zackery Powell who's probably seen all my fights and knows that's when he shut it down perfectly. Right? So I want to get back in there, man.
Yeah. So, 2021.
Man.
Still time.
Oh, no.
You still got lots of shelf
I ain't going
life,
anywhere, man. Yeah. And like I said, I know I'm 32, but I haven't taken damage, man. I haven't been in wars. All my fights are first round finishes, you know. So
you're very smart.
I'm not trying. I'm not
together now. Punch drunk.
No. I gotta try to stay as pretty as long as possible, man.
Fuck
so
yeah.
So
how are we doing for time right now?
Right now we're at hour 10.
Hour and 10.
Yeah, we usually do hour 20.
Yeah, we do hour 20. Do you want to tell everybody where we can find you? Let's wrap this thing up. I know you guys got to drive home. I don't want to hold you up too late. Where can we find you?
You mean like social media? Yeah. Like my social media is open. I think it's just or Adam Def, ADAMDEF. I'm training in Mississauga. I train at Parabellum, Mafa, Crew Gerald, and them. They're a family to me. I train with great Muay Thai guys like Eric Rocha, and I train with killers, man. So it's.
What if Greg DeRoche? Did you ever train with him?
He's I'm not close with him. Like I know what personal stuff he's going on. The guy's fucking terrifying, man. Because I remember we fought in that ace card together. Yeah. And there was even a bit where they were like, Adam, listen, you dusted everybody at lightweight. Jump up, fight Greg at welterweight. And I'm like, man, like,
yeah, he's tough.
You know, I'm like, man. I'll fight anybody. And for sure, I'll fight a guy like Greg. But I don't want to fight a guy like Greg. Yeah. That guy's a fucking just.
He's kind of just
brick wall when you're rolling with him. I'm sure he's got some family stuff. He does show up here and there. Yeah. I don't know what it's going on with the fight game for him, but it'd be a shame if he didn't fight again because the guy's a fucking savage, man. What he did, was it Johnny Tello? I think he fought Johnny. Johnny Tello's up in Thailand right now, living full-time training, but
is that what he's doing?
I think so, yeah.
Boxer, right? Johnny Tello?
Boxer, but he's embracing the Muay Thai.
He had like in a bar fight or something, got his nose cut off or something.
Real bad, yeah. I think some woman slashed his face.
That's fucking crazy.
He went through a bit of a personal journey. I don't want to talk in terms of, I don't know what he went through. I know it was hard, and he's in Thailand now, and he's living his life, man. He's training, he's fighting. He's doing good, but like a guy like Greg, I'd love to see him. Guys,
he fought for me on an amateur card.
Yeah.
And I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Like he came out of nowhere.
And the fact that I remember me and him were the only guys for that AFC fight with Seth when I fought Seth Connor. Yeah. Me and him were the only ones that showed up looking like death. Like we did a real weight cut. Yeah. That guy looks like death. Making 170, man.
Yeah. He's big.
He's a big boy. It blows my mind that he makes 170.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah, he was a scary looking dude.
Wow. Yeah. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, my man, Adam De Freitas.
Thanks for having me on, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming in, bro. I appreciate
it. Guys. Subscribe. There's 100%. There's a lot of good guys that have been on this podcast, so I'm stoked that I'm on it too.
I'm happy. Way beautiful. Thank you.